My fiancée left me for my brother on our wedding day with my parents' full support. Now she sought help against her husband's controlling behavior. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. The sun was shining brightly in the sky as I stood at the altar, waiting for the love of my life. All around me, friends and family filled the grand hall, their faces bright with joy, their eyes gleaming with excitement. My heart raced as I adjusted my tuxedo, glancing nervously at the door, waiting for her to walk down the aisle. Her name was Emily. She had been my fiancée for almost 2 years, the woman I thought I would spend the rest of my life with. And yet on that day, the day I had imagined and planned for so long, everything changed. I could hear the soft music playing, and I stood there smiling, imagining how beautiful Emily would look in her wedding dress. The doors finally opened, and I turned around expecting to see her. But it wasn't Emily, it was my brother Ethan. My blood ran cold. Ethan stood there, a painful expression on his face, his eyes full of guilt. I could see the hesitation in his movements, the way his hands trembled as he slowly walked toward me. I glanced around, searching for answers in the sea of confused faces, and then I saw Emily. She stood in the back, her face hidden behind a veil, but I could see the pain in her eyes. The woman I had loved, the woman I had dreamed of marrying, had just left me at the altar. Not for another man, but for my brother. Flashback to the years leading up to the wedding. I had always been close to my brother. Growing up, we did everything together, played sports, shared secrets, even had the same group of friends. Ethan was like the other half of me. He was my rock. I never questioned his loyalty or integrity. And then there was Emily. I met her in college, and from the moment we started dating, I knew she was the one. She was everything I had ever wanted. Beautiful, kind-hearted, and fiercely independent. The love between us was intense, and we quickly became inseparable. But somewhere along the way, I started noticing small changes. Emily would become distant at times, her attention elsewhere. Ethan, too, seemed different, more reserved, more distant. I never questioned it. How could I? They were my family, my closest friends. I thought nothing could come between us. And then came the night before the wedding. I'll never forget it. Emily had asked to speak with me privately. I was nervous, excited, anticipating nothing more than a few pre-wedding jitters. But what she said shattered everything. "Adam, I can't marry you tomorrow. I'm in love with Ethan," she confessed, her voice breaking. "I never meant for this to happen, but I can't keep lying to you. I've fallen for him." I stared at her, my heart collapsing. I thought I was hearing things. "What? You're in love with my brother?" The words tasted like acid on my tongue. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I'm sorry, Adam. I never wanted to hurt you." And in that moment, I realized that everything I knew, everything I believed in, was a lie. The wedding was called off. The guests were sent home, but the damage was done. I was heartbroken, humiliated, and angry beyond words. My parents, too, were shocked. But when I turned to them for support, I received a cruel twist of fate. My mother and father sided with Emily and Ethan. "You need to understand, Adam," my father had said, his voice calm, almost cold. "Ethan and Emily love each other. You should be happy for them." I couldn't comprehend it. How could my own parents support the woman who had betrayed me with my brother? How could they justify this madness? I left my parents' house that day, vowing never to return. I couldn't bear the thought of being around them anymore. Several years had passed. I had rebuilt my life, focusing on my career and trying to leave the past behind. But then, one unexpected evening, I received a message. It was from Emily. She had been married to Ethan for 3 years now, and she was asking for my help. "Adam, I need to talk to you. It's about Ethan. He's become controlling, and I don't know what to do anymore. I feel trapped." I couldn't believe it. The same woman who had betrayed me, who had broken my heart, was now reaching out for help. After all the pain and betrayal, how could I help her? But then I thought of the woman I once loved, the Emily who was kind-hearted, who always made me feel like I was the only one in the world. Was she still there beneath the woman who had left me for my brother? Meeting Emily. Again, I agreed to meet her, unsure of what I would find. The meeting took place in a small cafe on the outskirts of town. She looked different, older, more worn. Her eyes were tired and the sparkle that used to light up her face was gone. Adam, I never wanted to hurt you, she began, her voice quivering. I don't know what happened. I thought I could make it work with Ethan. But he's changed. He controls everything I do, what I wear, who I talk to, where I go. I feel like a prisoner in my own life. I was taken aback. Why are you telling me this? After everything that happened? I don't know, she whispered, her eyes welling up. I just feel lost. I thought I could make it work with him, but I can't anymore. And the worst part is, I have no one to turn to. My parents, your parents, everyone has turned their back on me. They're all supporting Ethan. I stared at her, trying to process everything she had said. Could I help her? Was it even possible to forgive her? I thought about the years of heartache, of betrayal, but deep down I knew that forgiveness was the only way forward. Maybe this was my chance to finally heal the wounds of the past, to let go of the anger and resentment. Over the next few weeks, I met with Emily several times. I listened to her struggles with Ethan, his jealousy, his manipulation, the control he exerted over her every move. She was a shadow of the woman she once was. And for the first time, I realized something. I was no longer the man who had loved her. The hurt was too deep. But I couldn't leave her to suffer alone. I had the power to help her, even if it meant facing my past and confronting my brother. In the end, I made a decision. I went to Ethan's house. The confrontation was inevitable. When I walked into the room, Ethan's face twisted into a snarl. What do you think you're doing here, Adam? I'm here for Emily, I said calmly. She's not your possession, Ethan. She deserves her own life. For the first time in years, I stood up for her. The battle was fierce. Ethan didn't back down, but I didn't either. In the end, Emily found the strength to leave him. She moved into her own apartment and started her life over, free from the suffocating grip of a man who never truly loved her. And as for me, I realized that closure wasn't about getting back what I had lost. It was about moving forward, finding peace, and knowing that I was strong enough to overcome the pain. Years later, I still remember that day, the day my life fell apart. But it also became the day I rebuilt it, piece by piece. I've learned that love is not always about happily ever after. Sometimes it's about knowing when to walk away, when to fight, and when to forgive. Emily is now free, and so am I. And the lesson? Sometimes the people who hurt you the most are the ones who need you the most. And in the end, the greatest act of love you can give is to help someone find their own way, no matter how complicated the road may be. This story is designed to be emotionally engaging, with twists and turns that keep the audience hooked. It touches on themes of betrayal, love, forgiveness, and personal growth, all set against the backdrop of family dynamics, which should resonate with both American and European audiences.